What is empiricism and why is it so critical? Yeah, I think empiricism. So what is empiricism? That is a great question. So empiricism is um effectively inspecting and adapting. We hear that a lot in the agile space. Empiricism is we need to, something happens, we need to be able to see what happened, right? We look at the data. That's the transparency piece, right? We can see what's going on, really what's going on, not vanity metrics, not all of that bullshit, right? We can actually see what's going on, and then we're actually going to look at it. So it's not good enough just to have the transparency. You have to go look, right? You have to go and analyze the data. You know, all those reports that you create that nobody ever looks at, they're all crap, right? You want to be actually, what data do you need in order to make different decisions? So we have the data, the transparency, right? Or what's going on. Look at it, and then we change the way we do things. We change something, right? And that could be lots of different inspect and adapt loops. There's a bunch of inspect and adapt loops, for example, baked into Scrum. That's why they call it an empirical process, right? It's implementing a number of different inspect and adapt loops. One of those loops is the daily, right? You've got a sprint backlog. Your sprint backlog represents your transparency of the present, what's going on just now. And then every day you're adapting, inspecting and adapting that backlog, continually adapting that plan towards completion of the sprint. You've also got the sprint review, right? Continually adapting the product backlog and the product goal towards whatever direction you're going. That way you're able to kind of steer in different directions as you close those feedback loops. And then you get the retro, which is the feedback loop for the process itself, our working agreement, right? Our definition of workflow. And at the end of every sprint, we're going to get together and figure out what happened during this sprint and how can we change this to make our lives in the next sprint a little bit better, or our lives 5 sprints down the line a little bit better. So there's 3 inspect and adapt loops just in that part of the process. And the entire sprint is another inspect and adapt loop. Your customer, right, the stakeholders are engaging in that inspect and adapt process. At the end of every single sprint, they can see what you've done and can decide whether they want to invest in another sprint, right? Am I getting enough value, or is there enough potential value that it's worth me spending money for another sprint, or are we done? Right? Perhaps it was a bad idea, right? We're quite early in the process and we had a cool idea, but it doesn't turn out it's very good. Or perhaps we're going in slightly the wrong direction and they need to twitch it over somewhere else, pivot, right? At the end of the sprint and figure out where we're going next. That's the real power of inspect and adapt, and that's why organizations that have large hierarchies and the people that are making decisions are too far away from this actual work that's going on, aren't able to respond quickly enough to the market, right? Because either your market is either a commercial market, right? Your business is doing business with other people, or potentially for a product, your market is inside of the organization, right? It's another part of the business that is delivering something. And as their needs change or the market needs change, you need to continually adapt the features that you're creating, the direction that you're going, what you're supporting in order to best meet those needs, because they're serving some other market as well that's constantly changing. So that's why we need those feedback loops. That's why we need empiricism, because we actually don't know where we're going. We might know what we think up front we want to create for this product, right? But what about who we're providing that product for? Is their capability, business direction stagnant, or is it constantly changing? What about what those people are creating their outputs for? Is that stagnant or constantly changing? And how quickly can we close those feedback loops? That's really what Agile is all about. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please like, follow, and subscribe. I always reply to comments, and if you want to have a chat about this or anything else Agile, Scrum, or DevOps, then please book a coffee with me through Naked Agility.